5 most popular builds on Maxroll GG at the very end of 2023, practically as we go into the new year 2024, my friends. And ultimately, why do I recommend that you still play SRS Guardian? Welcome back to channel, everyone. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. Christmas is behind us, New Year is just ahead of us, but we're almost there. It's the end of the year. I hope you've been all keeping well, and thank you very much for your support, watching my videos, subscribing to my very casual, friendly, and unpretentious non-pro content. Thank you very much for all your support throughout the year. So today the Maxroll is showing to us that we are looking at SRS Guardian. Excuse me. We're looking at Detonate Dead Elementalist. We're looking at Hex Blast Mind Saboteur, we're looking at Bone Shatter Juggernaut, and we're looking at Lightning Arrow Deadeye. There are others, obviously, but these ones are surfacing as the top ones. I will very quickly take you through all of them, give you the links in the description of my video, of course, to go to the original content and decide for yourselves if I'm right, if I'm wrong. Talk to me in the comments down below. And as I said, as I promised, tell you why SRS Guardian is still the best, okay? And this hopefully will save you some time. Okay, let's take a look at Lightning Arrow Deadeye. League starter. Palsteron has been, Crouching Tuna has been one of the creators in Path of Exile, has been producing some solid builds, and is a pro compared to me, that's for sure. And in this particular case, I am asking myself, why is his relatively poor Bossa with really bad defense build is still trending. It's still trending. A lot of people still play these builds for funsies, you know what I mean? They don't need an absolute, like, all-rounder green everywhere kind of stuff, you know what I mean? They need just a fun build to play, and sometimes if it's a poor Bossa or just has bad defense, such as, I don't know, Arc Witch, you would say to me, Gyro, why do you play Arc Witch occasionally? Because it's also poor in many ways. Well, exactly for that reason. So here we have Lightning Arrow Deadeye. If you simply like the play of Lightning Arrow, what's the point of me reading through this for you? You can read it yourself. You can go to this link that I will give you in the description of this video, and you can go straight and copy the POB build if you're really interested. And also, as the main selling point of Maxroll GG website, as opposed to anything else, is that the whole build is kind of written up for you here. You can just follow it right here and and build your another ranger ultimately, even in this particular case with a link to Crouching Tuna's video. Okay, so that's our number 5. Our number 4 is still scraping in to stay here, is the Bone Shatter Juggernaut from Tripolar Bear. Alright, Tripolar Bear, respect the content creator, I mean, I respect all of them, obviously, and Tripolar Bear is one of those that are, you know, we're all very subjective in terms of how we consume content. Some of you will like how I talk to you, some of you will dislike how I talk to you. Same with any other content creator, I think it's fair to say. Well, Tripolar Bear is one of the more pleasant ones to my ear, and I always approach content from a beginners and casual kind of player's perspective, so I can recommend his build to you in general. However, Bone Shatter Juggernaut, as much as creators, including Tripolar Bear in this case, as much as they advertise it to you as, the best build ever, billion DPS, easy to make, blah blah blah, as soon as you just start spending time and listening to them, right, you very quickly realize that as soon as you're past leveling phase, as soon as you enter, I don't know, the need to buy some expensive jewels, start crafting on your bench some complex recipes, investing divines upon divines of currency into the build, it suddenly stops being a free and easy little league starter that you were stomping the early acts with. I hope you're with me. So in this particular case, Bone Shatter Juggernaut is, in my humble opinion, yes, subjectively once again, they rated more green than the previous build, for example, but it's not that noob friendly in terms of the budget allocation, in terms of investment of currency that you need to put into it for it to be solid and to match those greens and blues over here that you see on the screen right now. Do you know what I mean? Which is main reason why I think it is not a very it is a league starter, a trending league starter, you know, according to the statistics that we're seeing here, otherwise it wouldn't be on this website, but it is not that much of a beginner friendly build. I would still say we're acknowledging it here because it is what it is, it's data, but at the same time I don't think that you should play it if you're a beginner of Path of Exile. I don't think so. It even tells you the strengths and weaknesses, which are again subjectively highlighted by the creator of the guide, but I find it complex. Bone Shatter mechanic is complex. It's not as easy as it pretends to be. Okay? Hex Blast Mind Saboteur, Palsteron, Palsteron is used to be, at the very least, I'm gonna say, used to be one of my favorite build makers in content creators. We're all content creators, but he's a build maker of Path of Exile. What I find very, very interesting about Palsteron, however, once again, all due respect, of course, but to warn some people who don't know any better, Palsteron goes fast in explanation of his builds in his videos. He's hard to follow. He assumes he has a curse of knowledge. Curse of knowledge meaning it is not a spell in Path of Exile. It is just basically when the creator pretends that everyone knows everything and he can skip essentials and just boom, 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 off you go. It is all like his build, even though it's made for beginners, namely kind of, well, advertised as such for league starters and an easy one. It is not that easy to follow the guide. Subjectively, humble opinion, we can disagree here, because I don't even think that you need to correct me here, because everyone sees things slightly differently. Additionally to that, I would say that mines and traps builds in general are they're kind of like totem builds in terms of you either love this playstyle or you hate it. It's not an everyone's cup of tea. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's very plus, in this case, Palsteron probably is just being a little bit, credit to him, a little bit more realistic on assessing it realistically as far as how is the difficulty of it, how is the budget of it, how is the mapping of it and bossing of it, rather than just giving it all greens. But I think Hexblast Mines, even though I haven't played it extensively, I played Mines in general a lot and Traps a lot. And I think that while you could try this, I still believe that there are better ones to start with, the better builds to start with, if you're a real beginner or a casual player who simply does not want to invest much currency. Which brings us to two of the top builds in my humble opinion currently, as proven by Maxroll GG. Detonate Dead Elementalist again from Tripolo Bear. Credit to him, my hat is off, but I have headphones on, can't take it off. Detonate Dead is attractive because you generate corpses and you detonate them, okay? However, once again, something that starts and is advertised as they say here, the Detonate Dead Elementalist is a league start beast, it's another build that can do it all, blah blah blah. And then you start looking at it and you see that difficulty is actually moderate even according to him, and budget is maybe very low, but when someone like Tripolo Bear says that the budget is very low, they still mean 20 divines or something like this. Do you know what a divine even is? If you don't, then please be realistic with your expectations, is all I'm saying. You can still take it far, it can still take you to the maps, but do you know what I mean? Like, have your expectations real in this sense. And yeah, there are other complexities to this build, which again, I'm not here to read through the build with you, that would be very easy content, wouldn't it? But I find it more complex than it says on a tin. Okay, you tell me if you found it just as easy as they advertise. I still think that when you have to level as Rolling Magma to level 28, which is like 1/3 of the game, you know, not reaching endgame of course yet, that already is kind of a bit of a clunky start. You're not starting on what you want to be, do you know what I mean? And with that in mind, we're going to SRS Guardian, Summon Raging Spirit Guardian League Starter from, in this case, it's a guide by Subtractem. Subtractem is one of my favorite build makers of Path of Exile, and I started with this one, and I spoke about this League Starter as featured on PoE Ninja, another resource for the build seekers and build makers, yeah, alike. But I somehow found that once you reach mid-game towards end-game with Subtractem's build, it becomes a little more expensive because of the gear and because of the jewels. He relies heavily on jewels and stuff like this, and he also relies on slightly more complex mechanics involving specters, raising specters and raising particular specters as well, which immediately scares a noob away, you know, when you need to hunt for a particular specter, blah 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 blah. So that kind of turns people away. But there is also another equivalent of this build, which I will not allege that one copied off from another. They are similar. They're very similar builds. It's hard to tell who derived from whom. This is Subtractem's build. But I am now following the build, playing the build by Big Ducks. Big Ducks is another great creator who is not featured here, but he deserves credit here, and he will be linked in the description of my video, who, in my humble opinion, has a lot more beginner-friendly version of SRS Guardian. Why is SRS Guardian great? They do talk about also leveling with a different skill, like also Rolling Magma or something like that. I leveled mine right now high 70s, not yet deep into the end game, but far enough, and I leveled it with Summon Raging Spirits from get-go, straight away. That's what makes it a league starter. I didn't invest anything basically into it, and I'm crushing right now the content, of course not deep into the end game, and I will show you some recordings as I leveled along, nothing to be too proud of just yet, but all I can tell you is that Summon Raging Spirits is an absolute OP, completely broken, one could say broken, build that doesn't require much investment or much skill, but something that allows a beginner to just learn the content, just enjoy the game, practically not do much, but simply enjoy the mechanic of the league, Affliction, in this case 323, and really not invest anything. We will see how far that obviously takes me with as little investment as I can, because that's the bit I am testing, and that's the bit I will be producing, not a guide, but my own review of later. But at this stage, I can tell you, PoE Ninja, Maxroll GG, great resources, credit to all the creators of the builds and my massive respect to them, but I can tell you that in this league, at least at this stage of the game, with this tuning, with this kind of stuff going on, Summon Raging Spirits Guardian is absolutely crushing everything that I can even remotely imagine. So at this stage of the game and at this stage of the league, I would say that Summon Raging Spirits Guardian, for what it's worth, is absolutely the best true league starter, true thing that you can start with and crush the content with, compared to any other allegedly best out there build that you can find, you know, in this particular list. I'm simply kind of inviting you to take a look at these builds in case they fit your playstyle or your interest a lot more, or maybe perhaps that you've already started SRS Guardian and maybe you got bored with it, so these ones are worth your attention. I hope you have enjoyed this video, my friends. Please give it a like. Quick like goes a long way if you have enjoyed it, and Happy New Year to you. Hoping to see you here in 2024 and keep talking to you about Path of Exile and other games such as World of Warcraft. Goodbye for now. Happy New Year. Talk to you soon.